The Michael Berry Show.
The stock market had seen a dip when President Trump took over, when the tariff talk heated up bigly. And I read a lot of things. I try to consume opinion from across the spectrum. And most everybody who was not, deeply in Trump's corner was saying these tariffs are a bad idea. Look at the stock market. Looking at the stock market is not a good way to measure long-term economic plans. In fact, it's a terrible way. When you understand that the stock market is not, I repeat, is not a rational, practical, sophisticated determinant of whether current economic plans are going to yield prosperity generally. The stock market can rise or fall dramatically on the basis of a lie, on the basis of hype, on the basis of fears never come true, all sorts of things. It is a marketplace, and there is the idea that with sufficient numbers you achieve, there's even an economic theory on this, but I don't want to get too far into this, you can achieve a sense of efficiency. Well, this is about as rational as the idea that the housing market bust in 2008 was based on taking a bad loan. You got a guy that makes $50,000 a year, and he lives in Houston, and he takes a loan on a house in Arizona for $400,000. And he Airbnbs the house, or back then there was a different process, but he gives it to somebody to rent, and he makes the minimal payment, and he's counting on in a year selling it for $500. And they're called liar loans. He would go and take that and sign that he made, $2 million a year, and so he would lie on his application, like Letitia James did in New York. But these were unverified loans, which meant you tell them what you make, they call stated income. They would loan you money based on what you told them you made. Well, you don't believe this, but some people lied. Who would imagine? And so they would have all these houses. Well, why would you do this? Because the market was going up and up and up. So you'd buy a house for $400, sell it in a year for $500, minus property taxes and transaction fees. It was working because values are just going to go up, 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 up until they didn't. And when they started unwinding, what happened was these liar loans were a big part of the portfolio of outstanding loans. So what they did, people recognized there was risk. That's a really risky loan. That guy's not going to be able to pay it back. So what they did is they bundled them up, because the idea was if you took one bad loan and added another bad loan and another bad loan, if you put enough bad loans together into a bundle, that made the bundle efficient. But that's not true. It's quite the opposite. It had a multiplier effect on the likelihood it would bring the whole thing down. And I say all that to say this. Stock market was up yesterday. I never comment on the stock market on the day of, because I like to have time. In fact, I very rarely, if you notice, comment on day of news at all. Anyway, the stock market had been down. Yesterday, it shot up because he pulled back the tariffs. All that by way of saying, every time Trump says something and they panic, just understand it's all a negotiation. Be calm. We are the watchmen, okay? Let's be the sane voices out there.
The Michael Berry Show.